Good morning, welcome back. A love of sports is often seen as a thread that connects cultures, and connecting cultures is what Sports for the World's Children is all about.
And joining us this morning to talk about the organization and its latest trip, our founder and executive director, Kim Ina, and longtime volunteer, Emery Clay. I think you guys are just playing around. It sounds like great, good fun. Yeah. Tell us about the basic premise of the organization.
Well, what we do is we collect new and used sports equipment here in the United States, and we redistribute it to kids and communities in need. We've worked here in the United States, and right now we're really focusing on areas in Mexico.
Tell us a little bit about what you're finding down in Mexico and how the sports equipment is received. Emery, why don't we have you talk about that?
I've been going down with her for 8 or 9 years now, and what's fun is watching the volunteers that come down with us. The first smile from a child just opens up their hearts, and so they come back year after year after year after year, and it's fun to watch the kids rush out to meet you.
There's some pictures. Who wears this exactly?
This is in a colonia outside of La Paz, and actually
in Baja California.
In Baja California, and it's an area where there actually was no running water or electricity. It's been only within the last 2 years that they've actually got electricity. There's still no running water in the community.
So I guess it's sort of amazing, because I think, oh geez, getting your hands on a ball is simple, right? You know, that's one of the things kids have easy access to, but you're actually saying no?
Right. That's kind of why I thought I would like to do this. Down there on a fishing trip, we saw kids playing with rocks covered with tape as balls, tree branches.
Ooh, that's
and
gonna get dangerous.
Yeah. And I knew that, you know, being involved with sports all of my life and during school, that I had access to people and clubs and coaches that had access to this equipment that you know, sometimes sits in a storage space or something. I know, like a lot of the little leagues, they get funding year after year after year to buy new equipment and new uniforms, and what they used last year sits somewhere in a garage or something, and it's totally usable equipment, and there's so many kids that don't have access to that type of equipment. So that's part of why I wanted to do this, was because I knew I had access.
Tell us about the role of the volunteers.
Their main role is to help us transport the equipment from here to Mexico or wherever we're going to work. That's one of the hardest things, one of the most difficult things that we encounter, is moving that equipment because of customs, because of you know, other getting it over the border and things like that. I have to say that Alaska Airlines has been incredible these last few years. They donate extra cargo space on the airplane when there's room for our equipment to get down there. But the volunteers' role basically is to help us get that equipment down there. They're supposed to save one of their check-in luggage spaces on the airplane to take a bag of our equipment down. And then once they're there, they're not required to do anything, but we have transportation to schools and communities, and we help teach the kids how to bat and how to dribble and how to use the equipment rather than leaving the bat.
You see some volunteers that work there showing some kids how to bat.
So Emery, tell me what you think this means, this sort of bridge across the border relationship. What does it do specifically for the kids, and then what does it do for the relationship between our country and theirs?
Well, a great deal of the volunteers that go don't speak Spanish, so the language that's spoken is smiles, laughter, enjoyment, and that's an amazing bridge. The first smile, the first laughter, the first time the doors crack open and all the kids rush out to meet the,
they know it's coming.
Meet the van. You watch all the volunteers just spark up, and they're hooked. So it's like I was. I went the first year, I ended up 9.
Doesn't part of this also help in terms of teaching some leadership skills? Or
Absolutely. One of our main goal when we go into these communities is to kind of motivate them. Some of the communities have drug problems, just as in any other community, and what we'd like to see ultimately is that we help them create their own self-sustained sports programs for the kids, because there are none there. We don't want to just go in and leave the equipment, but we'd like to see you know, coaches getting involved, parents getting involved, community leaders getting involved. And in that first area where we saw in La Paz, they started out with about 30 kids and one father who started this little league, and now they're over 500 kids strong.
Whoa.
They've built other fields in the mountains, cleared fields, to make fields for more of their kids to play. They're registered with their baseball league, so now they can compete.
That has to be the really rewarding part of all of this, is to go back and see a little league that took shape from donated equipment.
Yes.
What do you need most?
Actually, right now, money. We're all set to go on our next trip, which is at the end of October, and you know, it's hard for us to find funding at times because they know that our benefit is crossing the border. It's not necessarily staying in our own communities.
Right.
Although we have done work here. So transporting the equipment and having funding to do that is our you know, biggest need right now. But
All right, well,
definitely equipment as well.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let's talk about your next trip. It's called Turning a Double Play, and the trip takes place October 29th through November 5th, and you're heading down again to Baja California, specifically the town of Loreto in Baja California. If you'd like more information, the website's on your screen, www.swcfoundation.org. Kim, Emery, great to see you. Keep up the good work.
Thanks so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Also brought you a couple gifts.
Excellent.
Shirts and
All right. Well, thank you so
How
much.
cute. Look, well, we got to show that shirt. Look at this, how cute. See? Can you see that? The little kitties on there. There's nothing
They
so
are
Worthy.
worthy. Yes, they are. All right. Thanks again.
cute. Lousy way to do it, but there you go. They're teasing everybody. Thanks a lot. Let's check